Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News Update. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Today, I'm highlighting news from Jamaica. Environmental advocates and marine conservation stakeholders in Kingston issued an urgent call on Wednesday, August 12th, for regional diplomatic action after massive accumulations of foreign plastic waste began washing ashore on along Jamaica's eastern coastline. My goodness, people, stop dumping your rubbish in the oceans and the rivers and stuff like that, man. According to findings highlighted by the Kingston Harbor Cleanup Project, local environmental bodies, heavy tides and Caribbean trade winds have pushed non-biodegradable debris bearing commercial labels on Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Colombia, and Guadeloupe onto beaches in Holland Bay, St. Thomas. Environmental leaders are urging the Jamaican government to establish bilateral agreements across the Caribbean to address cross-border marine pollution at its source. People just had to become more responsible, boy. My goodness. And think about your brothers and sisters in other countries and in your own country. How that gonna really benefit you all when those kind of things deter people from visiting your countries and how you take it with tourism. In your own respective countries, we're not just talking about Jamaica, of course. Environmental leaders, right, are urging, already read that part, and local emergency response developments, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, alongside the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, mobilize humanitarian relief supplies for displaced families in Cooper's Pen, Trelawney. The emergency aid deployment follows a multi-agency operation that resulted in the demolition of approximately 20 squatter structures in the area. So you destroy the people's homes and then talking about emergency. Tell we living in a real evil world, you know, people. Evil world. Yeah, people say, oh, so you're encouraging lawlessness and squatting. No, I want the government and them to make it a constitutional right of all citizens to be able to own one little portion of land, one lot. You want more than that? Well, then you have to purchase it. But you're a citizen of a country and you should not be homeless. That is utter nonsense. Disaster officials confirmed that temporary shelter, food packages, and essential supplies were distributed on Tuesday evening to mitigate immediate hardships caused by the state. The people were living normal lives and you come and break down the people's homes faced by affected residents while long-term housing assessments continue. Governments, boy, you vote for them and then they turn around and they betray you. On the economic front, the Jamaica Tourist Board announced a major boost for the upcoming 2026 to 2027 winter travel season, projecting over 400,000 incoming airline seats from the Canadian market. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett highlighted the key carriers, including Air Canada, WestJet, Sunwing, and the new non-stop routes from Porter Airlines are significantly expanding flight frequencies into Montego Bay and Kingston. The expansion forms part of the government's broader strategy to attract 600,000 annual Canadian visitors and generates US $750 million in sector revenue by 2030. Wow! So that vision is far from now still, boy. But I mean, it's still good to be planning ahead. In law enforcement news, the Jamaica Constabulary Force scored a key operational success after officers from the National Strategic Anti-Gang Division formally charged 2 individuals in St. James. Charge, you hear that, Kamala? Charge. Not just detaining people without evidence. Charged 2 individuals in St. James following the recovery of 200 rounds of 9mm ammunition. The arrest occurred after law enforcement intercepted a suspicious motor vehicle along Fairfield Road in St. James. Yeah, but think about it, is Jamaica, just like Trinidad, is refusing to mandate body cameras. Because you think about it, is you don't know this evidence could have been planted on these individuals, yeah, just for spite. That's because one particular officer could have some kind of personal agenda against the people. Both suspects remain in police custody, facing charges of stockpiling prohibited weapons and unauthorized possession of ammunition as anti-gang operations intensify across the parish. I hope I don't end up reading in the future where there was a lawsuit and these individuals have to be compensated for wrongful arrest and fabrication of evidence and stuff like that. Malicious prosecution. National governance and diplomacy also took center stage on Wednesday as former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson delivered an address urging countries across the global south to reject division and build a unified economic front. Speaking on international relations and global trade equity, the veteran statesman emphasized that developing nations must collaborate more closely on trade, climate resilience, and financial reform to safeguard their sovereign interests on the global stage. Definitely, the Caribbean nations need to come together even more. But CARICOM is just a joke right now, it's just all about politics. Meanwhile, public health care delivery sparked widespread discussion following calls from senior health administrators for improved patient care standards and major medical centers. The debate gained momentum after public concerns were raised regarding waiting times and staff interactions in emergency triage departments. Health officials acknowledged the pressure on regional facilities and reiterated commitments to enforce greater professional accountability and compassionate care across public hospitals nationwide. To me, all that is just end up being is just talk, and more talk, But anyhow, let's just see where things go from.
Weather forecast for Trinidad and Tobago on Thursday, August 13, 2026. Trinidad and Tobago can expect variably cloudy, hazy, and breezy conditions with intermittent showers over some areas. There is a medium to high chance of a few heavy showers or thunderstorms developing by late morning to afternoon. Seas will be moderate with open wave heights from 1.25 to 2.0 meters and below 1.0 meter in sheltered areas. The forecast maximum temperature is 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 31 degrees Celsius in Tobago, while the minimum temperature overnight will be 24 degrees Celsius in Trinidad and 25 degrees Celsius in Tobago. Winds will blow from the east-northeast to east at speeds ranging from 15 to 30 kilometers per hour. A moderate concentration of Saharan dust is present in the atmosphere, so sensitive individuals should take the necessary precautions. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Psalm 35, 13-17. Yet when they were sick, I put on sackcloth and humbled myself with fasting, praying for them with a bowed head as if mourning for a friend or a brother, grieving deeply as one who mourns for his own mother. But when I stumbled, they gathered together in glee, organizing hidden attacks against me and slandering me without ceasing. Like ungodly mockers at a feast, they sneered at me and gnashed their teeth in anger. How long, Lord, will you just look on? Rescue my precious life from their attacks and save me from these lions.
I rejoice in the Lord's salvation. He rescues the helpless from the strong, even when enemies repay my good with evil and false accusations. I prayed and mourned for them when they were sick. Lord, rescue me from my enemies. Lord, I am not worthy to have you under my roof. Just speak, and my servant will be healed. No one in Israel has such faith. Are you really the Messiah, or should we keep waiting? Go tell John what you've seen. The blind see, the dead live, and the poor hear good news.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news update. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.